Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the MSU Admitted Student Webinar. This webinar is for students who have been offered direct admission into the Broad College. Let me start by congratulating your student for not only being admitted to MSU, but also getting a coveted direct admission spot into Broad. My name is Rich Sprang. I have the privilege of leading the undergraduate team here at Broad. I'm also a professor in the marketing department. Our interim dean, Judy Whipple, is not able to join us tonight, but she's prepared a welcome video for you.
Hello, I'm Judy Whipple, Interim Dean of the Broad College of Business. Although I can't be there with you today, it is my pleasure to congratulate you on your direct admission to the Broad College. Your journey begins today as a member of our community at Michigan State University. At the Broad College, we inspire the future of business. Broad Spartans embody this ethos as we work to make an extraordinary impact for business, people, and society. Your educational experience here will prepare you to thrive in the business world. With top-ranked programs and renowned faculty, we deliver an investment in your success beginning on day one. You'll explore experiential learning opportunities not found elsewhere, and you'll be empowered to follow your own unique path to graduation and beyond. As a member of our inclusive and collaborative community, you will transform business for the better by working with Spartans from many backgrounds, including our passionate faculty and staff. You'll gain skills that will enable you to solve problems with an entrepreneurial approach, a global mindset, and an ethical lens, creating positive change both within and beyond the classroom. Your direct admission to the Broad College is evidence of your exceptional dedication, intelligence, and potential as one of our newest Broad Spartans. When you step onto campus in the fall, know that you're not just a student. You are a future business leader, innovator, and change maker. On behalf of the entire Broad College community, we look forward to supporting your academic and career aspirations at MSU. I can't wait to see you explore your passions, experience moments that matter, build a network of lifelong friends and colleagues, and thrive in our wonderful community. Welcome, and go green. Hello.
The vision of the Broad College is to be a top-of-mind business school as reflected by the recognition of our brand, the reputation of our people, and the rankings of our programs. Our mission is to create and disseminate knowledge through collaboration, developing global transformational leaders who positively impact organizations and society. The Broad College is highly ranked in many areas. Overall, we are in the top 15 public undergraduate institutions. We have the #1 supply chain program. We are in the top 15 best programs for entrepreneurs. And we have the #1 hospitality management program. And a number of our individual programs are also highly ranked. There are also a large number of other highly accomplished students that will be joining you, including over 600 honors college students. We have over 40 student groups, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in a few minutes. Finally, as a graduate, your student will join more than 80,000 Broad alumni. This next slide shows the fantastic leaders of the Broad undergraduate team, and some of them are here tonight to talk about Broad and answer your questions. We will start with Melanie to talk about admission. Mel?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Melanie Wallace. I am the Director of Undergraduate Admissions and Transition Initiatives here at the Broad College. And I'd like to congratulate you and your students on direct admission to Broad. We are excited to have you join us. So big congratulations. So what's next? A common question is, how do we accept the offer? What do we do? What are the next steps? So to accept that direct admission offer, all your student needs to do is to submit their advanced enrollment deposit through the MSU Office of Admissions online account. We adhere to the same deadline that they do. As you're aware, it's somewhat recently been extended to June 1st. So June 1st is the deadline to deposit. Students should plan to keep their major as business admitted. That's the major that's in their admissions account, and that'll be the major they start with. So no changing of majors. We need to keep that as business admitted, and then start their MSU journey this coming fall 2024. Please note that the direct admission offer is not transferable to a future semester or year. It's good for this coming fall only. So after students get to Michigan State as matriculated students, they'll enroll with us at New Student Orientation and take required classes in order to what we call confirm their admission status. At the point that they confirm their admission status, they'll be directly admitted into the major of their choice. How do they confirm their status? There's lots of detailed information at the website on the slide, and also that we've put in the chat for you on the direct admission page. But it's basically a set of academic milestones that they need to meet by the end of their third fall or spring semester. So we review their grades every semester to see how they're doing along that confirmation track. And as soon as they meet those requirements, we confirm their status and change their major into the major of their choice. There are no limited majors within Broad. Once you're admitted to the college, you can choose at will. So students will be changed into the major they selected on the university application. But if in the year and a half or so that it takes for them to be confirmed from the time they first filled out their application, they've changed their mind, that's totally fine too. They just meet with an advisor and talk through the plan to change their major. So speaking of advising, our advising office, Undergraduate Academic Services, we're all excited to meet with your students during New Student Orientation. So a big question is, who is the advisor? So we have one advisor named Dan Watson, who is the business admitted lead advisor for all direct admit students before they are confirmed. So Dan's name is one to watch for as far as getting emails from Dan once the semester starts. He does lots of checking up on students to see how they're doing with the confirmation process, how their first semester and first year are going. So Dan's name is one to know. Once students are confirmed and changed into their degree granting majors, we do have a lead advisor for each one of those majors who will introduce themselves to the students through email once they are changed in. But it's important to know that Broad has what we call centralized advising. So all of our academic advisors are able to advise students in all of the Broad majors, which is a strength for us and a benefit to your students, because that means that they're able to see whichever advisor they'd like. Many of our students are happy seeing whichever advisor is available first on the calendar, and we do have a wide variety of advising options. So when can you meet with an advisor? How does that happen? So Broad Academic Orientation, which will happen this summer, is the first opportunity for an individual advising meeting. Once the fall semester starts, students can use our multiple advising options, including drop-in advising for quick questions where they don't need an appointment, pre-scheduled 30-minute advising appointments for longer conversations, four-year plans, how to fit in education abroad if they're taking a semester off for an accounting internship, etc. We have advisor email. Obviously, all of our advisors have their email address available to students, but we also have a general, what we call the undergrad email account for quick questions as well. And not on the slide, but we do also have a text advising function that students will be auto-enrolled in. Our services do shift periodically throughout the year to meet the demand, and we do try to keep our students informed of that through email and signage in our office. So the next big step is New Student Orientation. To get ready for orientation, you and your students likely have already received communication from the New Student Orientation office, but some reminders to get prepared. Take the math placement assessment. The math placement assessment is critical because it allows our advisors to know where to place your students along some of our curriculum spectrums. And the math placement assessment cannot harm a student. It can only help them. If students have incoming credit from dual enrollment or test credit like advanced placement or IB or A levels, if we don't have that yet at MSU because you're still waiting on scores, just take the math placement assessment. We will use the highest level of placement between all of those different pieces of information. Speaking of test scores, if students have taken tests that may result in college credit, those scores do need to be sent to MSU from the official testing organization. The sooner the better. So if students are taking AP exams shortly, I believe, make sure that they put Michigan State as a receiving institution for the College Board to send those scores in early July. Any tests that have been taken in prior years, it's important to go back into that testing authority's website, such as the College Board, and make sure that MSU is a receiver of those scores. Many students are, increasingly many students are seeking college credit in the form of dual enrollment or early college programs during high school. And so in order for MSU to evaluate and post transfer credit, we do need the original official transcript from the higher education institution. So for example, students from the local area sometimes do dual enrollment through Lansing Community College. We do need that transcript from LCC to be sent directly to MSU's Office of Admissions. Most schools use electronic transcript functions like the National Student Clearinghouse, I believe it's called. And so that's a quick and easy process, but it is important to know that we do need that from the college. We cannot take and grant credit from the high school. And then it's important for students to get started at checking their MSU email regularly for updates. This is, for better or for worse, the primary mode of communication to students from the university. So it'll be happening in fall semester, so good to get some practice now. The MSU university-wide new student orientation is the next step, and you will have received some information about that. It's important to know that students must complete the university's NSO process before they will be referred on to our college for our next step, which is the Broad College Academic Orientation Program. We will have in-person and virtual options. Watch for a postcard and some emailing starting in May. Our virtual options, we will have some in June and mid-July. The in-person options will be in June. If in-person is possible, I highly recommend that you attend. Students who did some in-person options last summer reported that they had a great time, and it's always good to get onto campus and into the facility. That's an opportunity for students to get to know Broad, the facilities, student support services. We talk about academic programs, degree requirements, getting involved, getting engaged with the college and the university process. It'll be where they meet one-on-one with a Broad academic advisor, plan their first year, and actually enroll in classes for their fall semester. And then orientation doesn't stop with the summer. We like to continue to help our students transition into Broad and MSU life. So we will have a series of events during the fall semester, the college colloquium before fall semester starts, a student organization fair, and an open house to showcase all of our undergraduate available services. A little overview of the academic programs at Broad. These are the majors. We have 7 majors in the Broad College. 6 of them are relevant to direct admit students. Hospitality business is a major within the Broad College, but it is an independent school and not part of the direct admit process. If students are interested in hospitality business, that is an advising conversation that they can absolutely have with the hospitality business advisor, whose name is Jeff Yingling, who is great, but just know that HB is not part of the direct admit process. They have a separate secondary admission application. A minor is a choice for a Broad student, not a requirement, but many students choose to pursue a minor while they're here with us. We have some excellent minors that are open to all Broad majors. Some of them are only open to Broad majors, and some of them are open to the university at large. Entrepreneurship and innovation is one of those university-wide minors that is housed here in the Broad College through the Burgess Institute for Entrepreneurship. And it is an excellent, excellent minor at a great opportunity for students who are interested in going out and being entrepreneurs or are not really sure yet and really just want to see what it's like and what kind of training they can get and practice at starting a business. Information technology is another university-wide minor that's very popular with our students. And financial planning and wealth management is one of the highest demand minors within the college, especially with our finance majors. So there's a wide variety here. For students who are in marketing or perhaps management, I would recommend looking into the sales leadership minor that's offered in conjunction with the College of Communication Arts and Sciences. That is an excellent minor for students looking to go into sales. I will not go into all of the degree programs here, but know that if students are looking for ways to use their elective credit productively and to gain some additional skill set, we definitely have a large options for minors. A little bit about our curriculum, getting into the kind of nitty-gritty courses. This is what we call the business core, and you'll see some of the subjects that we address in that core. This is roughly in order of how students will take the classes. So the quantitative requirement includes algebra and statistics. We've got economics. We have a computer science course that has some programming aspects to it. Certainly accounting, business analytics, marketing and data analytics, communication, and then introductory courses in all of the business functional areas, finance, management, human resource management, supply chain, international business, business law and ethics, and a strategic management course. And now that I've told you all about the academic options, I'll turn it over to Shannon to talk about student life in the college.
Thanks, Melanie. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. So excited for you all. My name is Shannon Breckeisen. I'm the Assistant Dean for Undergraduate Academic Operations and Student Experience. And I want to say I feel you. I have a high school senior. I have two students in at MSU, one in the Broad College right now. So this is such an exciting time for you. And it's my pleasure to really talk about all the things outside of the classroom that have benefit to your students if they choose to come here, which we really hope they do. So we have Broad 360, which is on my next slide. And this is an interface that we use in the Broad College to help us keep track of all the amazing things that are happening within the college. So this is powered by a company called Suitable. It's an app that your student can put on their phone, nice and easy, so they can explore what is happening. They can track their engagement. And for those of your students that really like a gamified experience, they can earn badges and get points. So we do give away prizes for top points. So if that's motivating, then great. Hopefully they're just doing it for the great opportunities that we have. So we really value these opportunities for our students and know that they help make them a well-rounded student when they graduate. Within the opportunities, we have a whole slew of registered student organizations, and Rich spoke of that earlier when he started this presentation. And these are just a snippet of the Broad registered student organizations. MSU has over 900 organizations that your student can get involved with. I highly encourage every student to find two, at least two. There's a handful of students out there that do many more than two, but two is a nice spot to be in. Find one that connects to your career path, and find one that you connect with your identity, who you are as a person, what you like to do in your free time. And it's a great way to complement who you are, and it's probably the quickest way to connect to students at MSU. It makes a big university feel really small really quickly if you have your group of students and fellow classmates to connect with. So don't forget about those student orgs. When we talk about complementing an experience, going abroad is amazing, and I hope Sherry's going to talk after me, and maybe she'll tell you a little bit about what she's doing this summer. But going abroad is an amazing opportunity, and we have so many options for our students within the college and within the university as a whole. We have options that could be a full semester away. Some of our students stay longer than that, but a full semester up to maybe 3 or 6 weeks in the summer, or even spring break programs. And students can really leverage that to have multiple varied experiences if that's something they're interested in. On the next slide, there's a few quotes from our students who have taken the chance to go abroad. And I will share one experience with my son who went to Panama City last spring break, and he went to Tokyo, Japan this spring break. And it's so amazing when your son or daughter calls you and says, oh my gosh, it's day 2 on this trip and this is life-changing, which seems so big of a response, but it really is life-changing to our students. And I really do hope that all of you take opportunities to take advantage of what is happening out there and the places that you can go and see and experience. Before I move on to my next slide, I do want to remind everyone that if you have questions as we go, you can drop them in the Q&A. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a Q&A button. So if you have questions as we go, feel free to drop them out there. We have lots of folks who will be able to jump on and answer those questions either in text, or we may just answer them in person, depending on what your questions are. So do that as you feel. The other piece, besides going abroad and doing the student orgs and getting engaged, we have a handful of different specialty programs within the Broad College that I'd like to highlight. And depending on what your interests are, you may or may not be interested in these spaces, but know that they are available. The Dashni Women's Leadership Accelerator was just started recently. It's a space for women and allies of women who are supporting women and want to see them be leaders out in the business world to get involved in this space. So a lot of one-on-one mentorship, and you'll see that very common in these smaller specialized programs is the one-on-one mentorship. And that's the relationship that you build with these program directors and with your peers that are in these programs. If you're interested in the finance space, there's a Financial Markets Institute, which is also a great opportunity if you're headed out to New York and you're working on Wall Street and you want to make big changes in that space. This is definitely a group that you want to be connected with. These are highly talented students in this space who are looking to make a big impact when it comes to Wall Street. In multicultural business programs, we have a collection of different spaces that you can get engaged in depending on what you're interested in. And MVP is going to tell you they're going to support your leadership development. They're going to create a sense of community. They're going to help you network, and they're going to be an advocate and a support for you. So on the next slide, we talk about a little bit more of the details of what MVP can provide and support our students. Just a collection of identity-based organizations. And they're going to, again, MSU's big, Broad College is a little smaller, and then you find these smaller pockets that really connect with you and your community. So definitely use those to your advantage. One of the sweet spaces when it comes to community is the residential business community. And Sherry Henry is here tonight to talk a little bit about that. So Sherry, it's all yours.
Thank you, Shannon. Good evening. Thank you for sharing some time with us tonight. We're so excited to have you on campus very soon. We're so very happy that you were admitted to Michigan State, and especially happy that you're a Broad College Spartan. So congratulations to all your hard work. In terms of next steps, one organization you may want to join is the residential business community. My name is Sherry Henry. I'm the director of the residential business community. It is more commonly known as the RBC. The RBC experience prepares students to be business leaders and encourages professional development throughout the college experience. This community living experience assists students in acquiring the relational skills necessary to succeed and lead in today's global society. Through a seamless environment of academic and experiential learning activities, students develop business leadership competencies in a collaborative, inclusive, and multicultural environment. Next slide, please. The residential business community is a living learning community that supports students as they transition to the university. The residential business community is housed in McDonald Hall, which is in the River Trail neighborhood. It's only 2 doors down from the College of Business, so it's really close. Space is limited for RBC and students, so the students must apply to join the RBC. If we could start the video now, please. Here's a short video that highlights the experiences of students in the RBC.
RBC enhances the student experience at MSU tenfold.
A lot of the times people come in not necessarily knowing exactly what they want to do. So this exposure puts into perspective about what it's like working in this industry or this company or just in general.
Part of the reason that I chose the RBC was because it was going to give me that small school feel with the big school name.
In RBC, they give you everything that you need for business majors to come in and kind of like adapt to the business world.
The community is a living, learning, and leadership environment.
There are so many ways that it does it indirectly. Simply living together, I was able to experience a big community such as Michigan State University, but when I needed it, I always had that default with residential business community.
It's really been convenient to have things like at your home, basically.
I, for one, am very motivated by my peers. If I see people around me that are motivated, I'm going to be successful. And I think that's what the RBC has done. It creates this culture of success.
Living here in East McDonald, we're all on the first 3 floors, so it makes it really easy. And just, we're kind of in the central part of campus. All of my classes are 10-minute bike ride, 15-minute walk. It's not bad at all, and especially 5 minutes away being from the BCC is exactly where you want to be.
They made sure you had all the tools available to you and having all of the resources readily available that people who I talked to outside of the RBC, they had never even heard about.
There are so many things that you don't think about that are skills that you need to have in order to go into business. Having an elevator pitch, a resume that doesn't have too much information on it, making sure you're involved in different business organizations.
So they teach you like all the basics. Branding, how do you communicate your brands through whatever it is that you're communicating. You get to meet professionals who can actually kind of like share through that journey.
And those are all things that you learn in the Business 101 course.
Even though it was like an actual class, it also kind of contributed mainly to my professional development.
The most beneficial thing you can get is from like a professional perspective.
All the people within the community, that's including the staff members, the upperclassmen who are leading you on community service projects and taking you on corporate visits, they are all there for you, and you can depend on them at any time.
Everyone is here to help you getting more and more professional and prepared for that.
With joining the RBC, like your experiences are endless. You can meet so many different individuals and do anything you want with your career.
But you're going to have that network of really successful and really motivated people that was built your freshman year.
In the end, you're going to be the ones, small group of students that are in the Broad College of Business, leading the other students who didn't have the opportunity to participate in this community.
I owe everything that I've had at MSU to RBC and help getting me started my freshman year.
Next slide, please. And so hopefully you saw some things that might resonate with you in terms of engagement, curriculum, and living. The application, there is a separate application for the RBC, and it opened in January and it closes tonight. So April 15th at 11:59 p.m. Today's the day we really need you to have your app in there. I don't know what to tell you, but it's tonight. So I wish I could keep it open longer, but we do have a large pool. So the application not only is for admission to the residential business community, but it is also where we review students for the scholarships that we are fortunate enough to give to incoming first-year students. Last year, we gave just under $500,000 in scholarships. So there's a lot of great benefits for students in the RBC. And I'm going to pass it off to our next speaker. I think it's Marla.
Thanks, Sherry. Hello, everyone. My name is Marla McGraw, and I'm the director of the Palmer Center. We are the career management office for the Broad College of Business. And I just want to say congratulations to all of you again. So excited, as everyone has already said, but I'll just echo my response. So excited that you all are here this evening. So we are the Palmer Center. The Palmer Center is located in the gorgeous Minskoff Pavilion. That is a picture of our office, and right across the hall are our fully appointed Deloitte Foundation interview suites. We've got 20 of them, but it's a beautiful location. As soon as you walk in the front doors of the Minskoff Pavilion, You see it right on the corner. So we are front and center, and we're a full service career management team dedicated to career advising and education. We have services and resources that run the full gamut, from in-person support to virtual tools designed to empower students to navigate to their successful future. So when you talk about internships and full-time jobs, that's us. And we've got lots of companies knocking on our door, excited to meet with all of your students. So this is just a sample, a very small sample actually, of all the companies that are interested in meeting with all of you. This was pulled from the class of 2022, just students that have hired companies that have hired our students just for full-time. These aren't even also our internship employers, but you can see there's lots of recognizable names and tremendous opportunities for our students. We're in a fortunate situation in that we've got so many companies interested in engaging with all of you. Next slide. So the Palmer Center, what do? We have a plethora of career coaches. So we've got professional coaching staff and peer coaches. So we also hire very talented seniors that have had lots of leadership opportunities in some of the registered student organizations that were mentioned earlier. They've also had lots of internships, and they are seniors. And as students enter, if they want to talk with someone who maybe interned at a particular company or find out more about a particular major, you've got students who were just in your shoes not too long ago. So they're really great resources. And then we have our own professional staff who've got an average of 17 years of experience in coaching and career education. We also instruct Business 100, which is a core course, meaning it's a mandatory course for all students admitted to the Broad College. So all of you on this call will be taking Business 100. It is a fantastic career management course. It's 8 weeks, and in it you learn everything from, the basics, your resume, LinkedIn profile, your online brand, but you also learn about how to network, how to have those employer conversations, how to interview, and we cap it all off with a mock career fair at the end, so you get a chance to practice all the skills that you've learned. We also host, of course, a lot of industry panels, career panels, lots of workshops, classroom presentations, you name it. We offer lots of events throughout the year and plenty of opportunities for students to connect with employers. We have over 600 employers that we work on a pretty regular basis, and that includes treks. We oftentimes take students on treks. We also provide digital resume books. So our companies are, very excited in the fall to receive those, and they reach out to students of interest immediately from the resume books. Again, just lots of opportunities for recruiting connections to be made. Next slide. And here are some of our key statistics. As I mentioned, Business 100, that's our core course, which is a great foundational course to get students to begin to get ready to recruit for those internships. As I mentioned, we're located in the Minskoff Pavilion. We work with over 600 employers, and those resume books are very popular, and we make sure that students have fantastic resumes that go right into those digital books. We host over 110 recruiting events annually. So you can imagine there's plenty of opportunities to engage in a variety of spaces, whether that's a large career fair or small scale mixers or even one-on-one and coffee chats. We have job shadow opportunities, so students can sign up to shadow an employer and learn more about a particular function or industry. We offer short-term projects or micro internships, and these are, again, terrific opportunities to just try out a particular area in business and get some additional experience and great information to put on your resume. The Gas Business Library is a fantastic resource. It's a multi-million-dollar resource tool set for industry function and company research. In Business 100, we spend time helping students learn how to research companies so that they can be successful while networking and interviewing. And then, as I mentioned, we have our 20 fully appointed Deloitte Foundation interview suites. It's a tremendous resource. Students can actually secure them if they're within the Broad College to use for virtual interviews, which is fantastic. So you don't have to have that virtual interview in your dorm room or in your apartment or what have you. It's really professional, nice space. Next slide. So this is just, some of the things that we do with students when we talk about our one-on-one appointments or drop-by hours. So we offer drop-by hours, so you don't even have to make an appointment. You can ask some of these questions, but we work with students on their self-assessment. So perhaps some students don't know what they want to do yet. They know they know that they want to be in business, or maybe they have an idea or two. We really can help them dig in and think about what they want to do and where they might want to intern. Resume, online brand, LinkedIn profile, learning how to stand out with employers, learning how to stand out above the competition. And how do I beat the bot? That's really important because companies have applicant tracking systems. And so we know how to work with students to create really strong resumes that can get in through those applicant tracking systems. We help with cover letter writing. What do companies expect from that? That's, very common that students haven't really had the chance to write a cover letter yet. So we work with them on that. Networking tips. How do I approach an employer at a career fair? How do I approach an employer at a mixer? So we even have a special networking tool that we give to students to make sure that they know how to prepare for those types of engagements. Attire critiques. What do I wear? Not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing here in terms of my attire. Sometimes that's hard to navigate, and we're here to help with that. We help with mock interviews to help students practice their interview skills. Follow-up, thank you notes, all those things that we know are so important when we talk about communicating with employers or communicating with alumni. And of course, offer and negotiation. We have lots of experience helping students as they negotiate that full-time offer. Next slide. So here are just a few tips as it relates to frequently asked questions. Where do you look for an on-campus job and internship? So also if you're a student who might be considering working as soon as you get to campus, or maybe soon after you get to campus, you can search for positions on Handshake, which is our digital online recruiting platform. So that's where you would look once you are enrolled. Where can you find some Broad College Palmer Center career management tips? We've got our Broad Job Search Guide. It's fantastic. You can access it right on the website, and it gives you lots of great tips that you can start to look at now if you're interested. So that's available to you. Our recent employment results are also online and available on the Broad College website. And of course, you can always email us at our email address, palmer@broad.msu.edu. We're happy to answer any of your questions, and we're really looking forward to seeing you in the fall. Next slide. And then, you can follow us on our social. This is a really fun way to find out about things that are going on even before you get here. So you can kind of get a sense for the kinds of messaging and the sorts of tips and things that we provide to students. So please do feel free to follow us on social. And staying connected. So there are plenty of ways to stay connected with the Broad College. And you can see that there's a plethora, whether it's attend, listen, read, connect. We're happy to stay connected with you, and just are very excited for you all to be with us in the fall. Next slide, and I think that's it. And we're open for questions. We've got the Q&A, and if anybody has anything else, I think that we just take questions from here. Is that right?
Yeah, I think Mel is going to answer a question.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to answer a couple of the questions that I've seen come in the Q&A about new student orientation. Yes, new student orientation is the first opportunity to meet individually with a Broad advisor, and that's part of a very carefully structured timeline where the university has information that they want to make sure that the student knows before they meet with a college academic advising representative. So advising and enrollment is kind of our piece of that new student orientation process. So that'll be in June and July. Those dates are set for us by the university new student orientation office. So those are the dates that are available. I think it starts June 10th, I think is the week that we first start dates, and it'll run through mid-July. We have, if I'm counting correctly in my head, maybe Shannon will remember, I think 14 different dates throughout those 2 months that we will have available to meet with students and to have them go through our advising and enrollment colleges orientation process. And just to follow up on something that Terrence mentioned, in response to one of the questions in the Q&A, advising and enrollment is the place that students enroll in classes. They will not be able to sign up for classes any earlier than that. So no need to worry. Classes will be available for students as we meet with them during advising and enrollment in June and early July. Thanks.
Okay, let's see, other questions. Sherry, you're typing an answer, but I don't know if you want to answer. You got a couple RBC related ones, maybe.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer them. So the first one that I just quickly answered, so I hope it makes sense because I didn't do a proofread of it before I hit send since I was asked to jump on here, is students in the RBC also have RBC advisors as well. And so there are, we have a Passport to Leadership program, and students meet different engagement activities and academic activities along 4 different platforms. One is leadership, one is academic and career development, one is social, I can't remember I can't remember all their names right now, but there's 4 different categories our students will build competencies in, and they don't have to do all of them through the RBC. If they want to build them through Financial Markets Institute or through a wealth management program or through the Dashney Women's Accelerator, they are open to those, or even through other clubs and organizations outside of the RBC. It's just that we want them to work on their leadership skills in the environment that they want to build those skills in. So we create unique programs and we accept unique activities to fulfill the different requirements in the RBC. But at the same time, every Tuesday we have RBC Success Series. And so that's one way that they can fulfill those opportunities. We just did on Saturday, the Spartan Day of Service. We took a bunch of students to do some community service. And so some students fulfilled their community service requirements that way. So we do have quite a bit of engaging opportunities for students, but then we also support them if they didn't want to do the RBC one. So it's really all about your student and you know, what they want to get out of college. So we'll work with them to make sure they're building the skill set that they need so that they can market themselves in the area that they would like to market their skills in. I see a couple more RBC questions. Is it okay if I keep going?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm already to throw those up to you.
All right, thanks. So I'm reading, if my child is enrolled in RBC, would she be assigned to advisors at RBC? Yeah. So the benefit is there's a lot of people who want to support your students here at Michigan State. So you have the Broad College advisors, you have university advisors, some of you have honors college advisors, and then in RBC, we have 3 people on the team that are academic advisors. I'm one of them. And then the associate director, Marcel King, and then our assistant director, Joe Cortade Boone, are all advisors. And so your student will be assigned to one of us as well. All right, and now I think I'm on, can students apply to be part of RBC after their freshman year if we don't get in initially? We have a 2nd year program, but we haven't accepted students in the 2nd year yet, but we're toying with that. So currently no, but by fall 2025, maybe. So we're working to formalize our 2nd year program and to expand it to students who didn't have an opportunity during their 1st year. So that's a maybe. We're working on that one. It's a great idea. All right, I'm going to hand it off now.
Okay, I think we're caught up on questions. Any other questions?
I can jump in and just say that there was a question about joining FMI, if you're RBC. And yes, our students do all sorts of collections and combinations of activities. So all of us here, all of the professionals that we work with, all the faculty in the college are happy to help your students think through what could they leverage to get the experiences that they're looking for. Sherry was speaking to it, right? There's lots of ways to develop yourself as a leader. So trying to figure out that collection of opportunities that make really great sense for your student and for the opportunities that you're looking for. I do want to highlight, because I alluded to it, I'm going to point out Rich and Sherry. Where are you guys going in a couple weeks?
Well, I'm doing a study abroad trip to Prague and Budapest.
I'm taking a group of 20 students on the business of the Olympics to Sydney, Australia. And so we can't wait. It's going to be a wonderful experience.
And I point them out because those are really great opportunities, and they're just a couple of the many great ed abroad programs that we have within the college, and they're exciting. They make lifelong friends when they're there, and it's also awesome for the faculty and staff who get to go as well. So we enjoy those spaces.
Sherry, how do they apply for the scholarships with the RBC application?
Correct. So the RBC application has within it embedded all of the questions that we use to make decisions on scholarships as well. So by just filling out the questions that are in the RBC application, you're also completing all this information we need for the scholarships as well. So that's just the one application for both. And it's due tonight at 11:59.
That's like your taxes. Marla, you want to just go ahead and answer that?
Sure, I was just starting to type it and I was saying yes in all caps. Does the Palmer Center help with internships as well? Yes, absolutely. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Most of our students have multiple internships before they graduate, and we absolutely work with students on internships. So yes, I can say it. It sounds like it's all caps. Yes.
Great set of questions. Any others that anybody's dying to ask? What universities do you partner with for your study abroad programs, semester-long programs? Anybody know the answer to that? Oh, Mel does. Thank you, Mel.
I can probably list a few. So the American University in Rome is a very popular program. We also have some great partnerships with some schools in Asia. So I'm trying to think. Chulalongkorn in Thailand is an excellent opportunity during the fall semester for students to go and have a really interesting international business education experience. We have some new programs that are coming on board that are formalized internship abroad programs. So students can do internships through a placement service that is kind of monitored and organized through the Office for Education Abroad and earn academic credit for those. We have an excellent program in Budapest. Corvinus is the name of the school, and that's a program that I used to like to tell students about when I had something to do with education abroad with Broad, because it's a very cost-effective program and very central to Europe, ability to travel and have some really interesting experiences there. That's a really small list. But we do also have lots of opportunities for students to do shorter term programs with faculty leaders like Sherry and Rich to go lots of different places as well.
So we have a school in Sydney, right? We have another one in Germany, WHU. There's others. I think you hit most of the ones.
I dropped a link in the chat of our programs within the Broad College.
Great, thank you.
See a couple more RBC questions.
Yep.
Is it okay for me to take those?
Yep, go.
So one is if admitted to the RBC and if later on in my son's freshman year, he decides that he doesn't want to participate or be a member of the RBC, which seriously, really? No, I'm just kidding. But it could happen theoretically. Is it possible for him to leave the community and live in another dorm? Or would he be committed to the RBC in McDonald until the end of his freshman year? So if he really doesn't want to participate in the RBC, we're not going to force him to do the RBC requirements. However, living in McDonald Hall is not necessarily coupled to the RBC. So Michigan State's Residential Education and Housing Services, they are in charge of the housing situation. So if he decides not to do RBC, that doesn't mean he has to move, and it doesn't mean he can move. There might not be spaces to move. So even if he doesn't want to finish the RBC requirements, he may still have to stay in that residence hall, because unless there's spaces where he can apply to move if spaces become available. So what I want you to know is that housing is not coupled to being in the RBC, in the sense that if you decide not to be in the RBC, you get kicked out of the room. You don't. That's not how it works.
And there are people, and there are students in McDonald that are not part of RBC.
Exactly. There are there's 1,250 spaces in McDonald Hall, 300 of which we have for the first year RBC and 150 for our second year RBC students. So, more than half of the hall is not RBC. So it's not that they're only getting it's not like engineering where the whole hall is engineering and it's like, that kind of experience. It's that you get the university experience, but you also have business students there to support you. So it's kind of like you have it all. So you don't have to, if the RBC is not a good fit, certainly we won't make somebody stay in the RBC in our classes and do our engaging activities. But as far as living in McDonald Hall, that's up to the Residential Education and Housing Services. It's not up to the Broad College. So, all right. Then sorry, Rich.
No, go ahead. There's another one.
So the question is, does RBC require a specific residence hall? What if I apply, what if I apply to RBC but decide on a different residence hall? So we prefer that students live in the community their first year in McDonald Hall. However, we've had a number of students who, for different reasons, had to be in different spaces, but they could still be in the RBC. So for example, if a student says like they're in two different programs, if both programs are residential programs, they could choose to live in the other program and still be in the RBC classes and engage in RBC. So, you can't divide a student in half. So we're gonna defer to the other program if that's where the student wants to live. So we've done that. Also, we have athletes in our program, and in some sports, the athletes are required to live in South Neighborhood, closer to where they practice. And so they've been able to live in South Neighborhood and be in the RBC. We do have an honors floor in McDonald Hall, and it is not on the first 3 floors of East. It is on the west side. And so some of our honors college students will choose to be on the honors floor in McDonald Hall, but not on the RBC floor. So, we can work with unique situations. So I guess I'll answer that as maybe. And then the next one is, does RBC require McDonald Hall? So yeah, we require it, but there are exceptions. Okay. Then the next question is RBC again. I'm going to keep going. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. What are the chances to get admitted to RBC? Oh my goodness. Well, let's find out how many people apply by midnight tonight, and then I can tell you more. At this point in time, we have 300 spaces, and so we'll see after we find out how many apps we actually have. But please apply if you're interested. I have no problem trying to get more spaces. All right, when do we know the admissions to the RBC? So we're going to work on that this week, and we're going to make our admission decisions hopefully by Friday. So hopefully you'll know by Friday. All right, there's another RBC question. When will students be notified That's Friday. Okay. Okay, Honors College, that could go to somebody else.
I got the Honors College. So yes, so the Honors College does direct invites into the Honors College based on high school performance, but they'll also do a round of invites after first semester grades post. So keep those grades strong, and there's opportunities to be invited in that space as well. Even for students who aren't invited to the Honors College, you can actually take advantage of honors options in classes. Not being part of the Honors College, you can do, sometimes you can even get into some of the honors sections, depending on your interest in those areas. So lots of different ways to expand on your undergrad curriculum if that is something you're seeking to do.
Okay, it looks like we have no further questions. If you do have any further questions, the slide that showed the email addresses, feel free to reach out to any one of us. Again, congratulations to you and your students for your admission to MSU and your admission to Broad. We hope to see all of your students this fall. And go green.
Why?
Go white.